look at 10 signs that you don't feel emotionally available to that person in your life. And this is really a good video if you're in a relationship with your significant other, right? You're a husband maybe, and you're watching this, and your partner tells you, "Hey, you're not available to me," or you've got somebody in your life, and you yourself have some sort of awareness that lets you know, I don't think I'm as available as I should be to someone else. So let's look at that, and let's look at 10 signs. Also want to mention something really quickly. These signs that we're going to go into, they come from somewhere, right? And typically where they come from is childhood. So something may have happened growing up. Maybe you grew up in a house where there wasn't a lot of open conversation, right? There was emotional distance. And perhaps when you tried, or when someone in the house tried to be vulnerable, bam, you walk on eggshells, you got attacked, you had to be defensive, right? It really just wasn't welcome, right? It wasn't welcomed, you didn't feel safe. And that takes us right into the first one, right? The first sign that you are not emotionally available. And look at these signs as knowledge, right? First step is knowing, and then we go into doing the work. My name is Dr. Juan Santos. I'm a licensed counselor. I'm here to be an agent of support. If you find this video helpful, share it with a friend, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now, the first one, you avoid those deep conversations. Maybe you're hanging out with your spouse, and your wife tries to go into a really deep conversation, and you just maybe you get uncomfortable, you feel uncomfortable, you look the other way, but you avoid it. You avoid it, you avoid it, you avoid it. So what do? If this is the ocean and here's the deep layers, you're avoiding all this deep stuff, you're staying right up here at the surface level, because that's where you feel safe. Number two, you struggle with vulnerability, right? That aspect of being vulnerable, you don't see it as strength, right? It's all these memes out there and people on TikTok talking about vulnerability as strength. You say, no, that's risk, right? That makes you feel worried because if you're vulnerable, you worry that you'll be rejected. You worry that you'll be judged. You worry that you may lose control. They may lose control if you share this vulnerability. Right? So far we've done 2 signs that you are not emotionally available, that you're struggling, right, with giving someone access to you. The third one, and I think this is one of the key ones in this list, you struggle with knowing what you are going through, identifying your own feelings, right? So when you ask yourself, how am I feeling? You genuinely do not know, right? It's a struggle, and it is not due to stupidity. It's not due to there being some sort of intellectual factor here. It goes back, and it goes back into maybe in my childhood I wasn't taught emotions and how to name them. Right? I didn't sit down with my parents. My dad didn't say, "What are you feeling?" And as a kid, you say, "Well, I feel some nervousness in my stomach." And your dad says, "Well, maybe that comes from anxiety," right? You didn't have those conversations. So now as an adult, you struggle to identify your own feelings. And that just kind of filters into that bigger picture of struggling to be emotionally available to somebody else. Number 4, I'm going to stick my arm out, because that's what you do. You keep people at an arm's length. You stay over there, I stay over here. And sometimes this could be just purely emotional. At times it could be a mixture of the physical and emotional, right? You feel safer. You stay away over there, I'll be over here. You feel safe here. Number 5, and this is an interesting one, because there's the very independent people out there. And maybe you're one of those, you're watching it, you're like, yes, I'm very independent, which can be very good. Whereas here we're looking at this strong sense, being overly independent, relying on yourself, right? You go, well, why am I so independent? Is it because I feel safer relying on myself than someone else? And then does that then filter into, I don't want to let my walls down, I don't want to let someone else in, because then I'm going to depend on them, and I don't feel safe doing that. So I'll keep my walls up, I'll keep my emotional distance, I'm going to be really independent and just depend on myself, because I feel safer here, because I feel more comfortable, because if something wrong happens, I can handle it. And I don't want to put that onto the other person. Why, right? Maybe these childhood experiences, maybe past experiences have led to struggling to be vulnerable, to put that trust into someone else, to being willing to go up and down, right? Number 6, you find that you meet somebody and you're sharing your life, you're sharing what's happening, and then they go a little bit deeper in the conversation. And man, does that pain you. So what do? You pull away from the pain. You withdraw. They say, hey, let's talk about this. I can't, I'm busy, I got something to do. You find some sort of reason, some sort of way to disconnect because those walls are up, right? I am not emotionally available to you. And when we were just about to go into that space, and I'm not taking that risk. No. Number 7, you prioritize productivity, doing these logical, rational tasks over deep conversations. And that may even happen with your partnership. You may be speaking to your spouse, let's say husband to a wife, and you're in this emotional conversation, and your partner says, tell me how you feel about that. And then you say, well, let's just solve this issue, right? The door needs to be closed. I'm going to make sure I close it. The dishes are going to get done. And then your spouse says, well, yes, those are important, but I want to tell you how I feel. I feel so distant from you. Well, let's just solve this issue, right? And you notice your partner there, they're trying to talk about the emotions. They're trying to get deeper with you. You are not trying to do that. Your walls are up. Let me solve the problem. Let's look at this as a productive task. I'm going to avoid that emotional intimacy that could take place. Number 8, I think we're on number 8. You find that there's a pattern in your history. If you look back at your history of relationships, you notice that there's been a lot of people in there, whether they've been significant people, parents, past partners you've dated in life, that have mirrored some of that behavior, right? Unavailable partners, individuals that have been either chaotic with their behaviors, these ups and downs, or emotionally distant from you. And why? The why could be, well, you yourself are distant. So you look for someone that's not going to push those buttons and wanting to be close to you, because you yourself are more comfortable having that wall, safe emotional distance, keep you at arm's length. Number 9, you notice here that the relationships have somewhat of a timeline. And then they just kind of fizzle out, die out. Big question is why? Why do I have all these people I've dated and it doesn't ever get to that deep level of commitment? And there could be many reasons, but because we're having a conversation here on signs you are emotionally unavailable, and this doesn't mean you're stuck here. Please know that. We're not stuck. We're learning, and there's ways to become emotionally available. So we're looking at number 9, and you may have this history here where this emotional availability, you're building a relationship with your partner. A week goes in, is great. A couple of months goes in, they want to get deeper and deeper in those layers with you. You keep them at arm's length. They try, they talk to you. They try to open up different layers, ask about your life, your feelings. You keep them at arm's length. At some point, they go, well, if I'm going to be at arm's length, maybe it's just not working out. So then you have this history of relationships that don't make it all the way to that long, deep, emotional, intimate layer. And then number 10, and in case you're wondering, could there be more signs? Yes, there could be more signs. Number 10, there is a feeling of detachment. There's a feeling of numbness when there's those emotional moments. And this is interesting because at times, this could be almost like a coping skill. There are healthy and unhealthy coping skills, by the way. So what could take place is that your partner is trying to communicate with you and build emotional intimacy. They're going from a surface level to a deeper level. And then what you may do is you may detach from that because that is happening doesn't feel good. I don't feel safe there, so I detach. I then feel numb in there. Some people even say things like, Dr. Santos, I feel like I'm shutting down in that space, or I feel like I'm going blank, right? I'm just disconnected from it. And that could be the emotional walls being really high, that distance you're having from the other person, right? You're keeping that safe distance. But if you notice, is it safe, right? That is the question. And here, of course, when we're looking at the signs of being emotionally unavailable, keeping someone at a distance, right? Who does that hurt? And if you notice, if I love this person in front of me and I'm keeping them at a distance, it's hurting me because I'm wanting them to come closer. So as I mentioned before, there's many ways to address these. At times, it's sitting down, human to human, connecting, getting to know one another, working with a counselor, and then over time, just chipping away, right? Chipping slowly away. This is me holding a device that just chips chips away. Hope you found this video helpful. Share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.